Bhattacharya there. Straight to the French newspapers for you now. We're starting with an international study. This is into childhood literacy, isn't it, Dipti?
That's right, and it has very little good news for French students. France is the, quote, dunce's hat, le bonnet d'âne. That's what Le Parisien says on its front page. They are the dunce's hat of childhood literacy in Europe, according to a new report surveying 50 countries. They tested over about 300,000 school kids between the ages of 9 and 10, and found that the quality of reading among these kids in France, alongside Netherlands, has receded. The quality has receded since the first study came out in 2001. It comes a year after another study showed that France is severely lagging in math as well. As you see in this cartoon behind me, the student on the left saying, we're terrible at reading, and his fellow student says, maybe it's because we can't read the math question.
Oh dear, not so good. Now, Le Parisien, you found a piece there pointing the finger at politics for this literary problem.
Well, here in France, there have been successive reforms when it comes to the education system. And due to successive governments, I mean, France has had 4 different presidents in the past 15 years. Well, that's 15 years of back and forth education reforms, sometimes contradictory ones, that's really left an impact on the quality of education.
Now, other papers are looking at the more radical ways that France is trying to introduce young people who've not finished school into the job market.
Well, it's really interesting. This piece is from Le Figaro newspaper that looks at these military-style schools set up for young students who've left school and are looking for work or apprenticeships. These boarding schools are run like the army, Le Figaro explains. The students have to raise the flag each morning. They have to wear a uniform. They also have to march like soldiers. And they do, in addition to school subjects, they do sports and arts and that sort of thing. Anyway, it's proving to be a success, albeit an expensive one, because 63% of students currently have found work or are in training. Now, Le Parisien is looking at another type of school. This is called, well, they call it the School of the Old Geeks. It's been set up by French tech billionaire Xavier Niel, and it's called 42. It's a Paris school open 24/7 and welcomes older, unemployed people alongside its younger students. Here they learn things, they learn computer studies and also learn to code. In some cases, for the older students, they relearn their profession because many of them were trained in the 1970s and 80s, and things are radically different now. And this, too, is proving to be a success. 70% of the older students have found work since.
It looks like a good social experiment there. No doubt helping France's international reputation. You found a piece in Le Croix talking about that.
Well, we've been talking about this a lot, especially since France won the bid for the 2024 Olympics. France is attractive again after winning the Olympic bid as well as the World Cup for the Rugby World Cup and enticing the European Banking Agency. France is on a winning streak and has become ever more seductive for foreign investors. 60% of them find France attractive again, this compared to just 36% last year. And there are some factors that could be contributing. La Croix says there is the Emmanuel Macron effect, and also helping France is a continuing chaos over Brexit and Germany's political instability.
So France may be back, hurrah. But Paris Saint Germain still licking their wounds. A bit of a humiliating defeat against Strasbourg on the weekend in Ligue 1.
That's right. The chills of that loss is probably still haunting them as they head to Germany today to face Bayern Munich for their Champions League game. If they win this game, they'll complete 6 victories in 6 matches. So it's not all is not lost. But as ever, nothing is simple for PSG. L'équipe says even if they win this match and they get first place in their group, it still remains to be seen who they'll play in the elimination rounds of the Champions League next year. And they could very well face Real Madrid or Juventus as early as the round of 8.
And finally, Dipti is ending with a story she's found in 20 Minutes, 20 minutes, about American man who got the munchies in the middle of the night.
He got the munchies, he says, because he had been drinking a little bit, it must be said.
Just a little.
He got hungry in the middle of the night. So instead of making a sandwich, as you might do, he went to his local Waffle House, which was open all night. After waiting what seemed to him an eternal 10 minutes to place an order, he realized that the store only had 1 employee, and the employee was asleep. So he made himself a bacon cheesesteak melt. Nice. Ever the gentleman, he did the dishes. as well afterwards,
yeah.
after his meal. He then walked home, not before posting online his nocturnal cooking exploits. Ever so honest, he came back the next day to pay as well.
Oh, nice.
Waffle House says customers aren't allowed behind the counter for security reasons, but they've asked this man, his name is Alex Bowen, to get in touch because they said clearly he has some culinary talents that could be useful at the Waffle House.
I love the photo as well. It looks like he enjoyed it. Excellent stuff. Waffles. Very good. Thank you, Tipsy with the papers of France 24.